Hey guys, what's up? This is Jorge and I'm back with another video featuring the Sony FX30. It's been about a month and a half living with this camera. We're almost at the 2 month point, so I thought I'd give you guys some of my favorite things that I love about this camera. And so the first thing I really wanted to talk about was this camera's small footprint. I love that this camera, especially when I have the 10 to 20 f4 power zoom on it, you can really go anywhere. I can hand hold it even at an arm's length, and it's wide. I can zoom in a little bit, but it's also really discreet. And I think if you were out in public, people wouldn't really be able to discern it between a DSLR and a cinema camera, which I think can be a big deal for people, especially when you want something that's a little bit smaller and something that's not going to be so distracting to the public. And so sure, that f4 isn't going to give you like the big bokeh backgrounds like an f1.4 or a 2.8 might give you, but I think the convenience of being able to have something that you can just kind of toss in a backpack or even just toss over your shoulder pretty conveniently is going to be a big feature that people will really like about this camera. It's nice to be able to just hold and grip something in your hand. I really love the ability to power zoom, that nice smooth zoom when I need it. It is kind of an amazing feature. The autofocus is going to be sharp. It's an f4. It can be hard to miss, especially at that focal length and that depth. I think you're going to be all set if you want stuff that's going to be in focus. I think specifically being able to be wide on at the 10mm range, I think is going to be huge for a lot of people. It's incredibly wide, and it just gives you that flexibility, especially when you're on a crop sensor camera. I've also been looking into the 15mm 1.4 lens, the Sony lens. It's also very small. It looks like it's pretty close to this size. It also looks very discreet. And it has that 1.4, which I think we're all kind of looking for, that blown out background. This is a 35mm 1.4, a Sigma, made for a Canon mount. And so I really love just that shallow depth of field look, especially with the autofocus on this camera. It's just been great. I feel like it would be super reliable. Even with this lens that's adapted, we're kind of seeing how well it's handling that, and it's doing pretty good. So I feel really enthused about that. The second thing I want to talk about is actually something that's a little bit more subtle. It's the tally lamps and the record buttons on the camera. And so I think, right now I'm looking at the camera, I have the screen open, and so right now I can see that there's a red box around the frame. That's really reassuring. I also can see the red recording light above that alpha sign. Those things give me a lot of peace of mind. And so that's one thing I really enjoy. Being someone on my Canon camera, it doesn't really do that. It's just you press a button and it's just, there's a little timer. If from this distance, I probably wouldn't be able to see it super well because it kind of just slides into the frame, almost, like not very obvious, which can be kind of frustrating. Also, having that record button on the front of the camera, especially if you're like vlogging or recording yourself, is kind of a big deal. You don't have to go back up or around and fumble and maybe nudge the camera. I think that might happen from time to time. Maybe I'm just a clumsy person, but just knowing it's there is super helpful, and being able to just be like, okay, I know what that button is. You can also map that button. I don't want to, because I really like where it's at. I like what it does. I know that it's going to be there if I'm holding my camera out right here and my thumb kind of fits into that space. I haven't tried it, so maybe there's a little bit of concern because maybe I'll push that button by accident, but I don't think I will. I think it's kind of it's just a small thing that really feels like a luxury, because not everything has that, and it's just another option and gives you more flexibility. So next we'll continue with the theme of flexibility and having options. And so for me, the USB-C port is exactly that. So USB-C charging is a fantastic tool. If you have a long day, you can just plug in via a power supply or a power bank. You can also plug in directly to the wall, and so at that point you're only really limited to the amount of storage that you have, which is kind of a big deal. Say you have an hour-long ceremony for a wedding, or you have a long piece of an event that you need to be able to shoot all the way through. It's really helpful just to have that option. It feels kind of rare that we've just, like, going back to DSLR days, we've just never had that. So now it's like, why didn't we have that before? But we have it now. It's pretty fantastic to have. I like it. Again, peace of mind, flexibility. Those things are amazing when you're on long shoots. Also, if you know that you're able to spend a little bit less on batteries, you can maybe pay for more storage or accessorize your camera, get a different rig, do different things with the camera, because batteries can be pretty expensive and they add up. So knowing you have plug-in power by whatever means is again just another valuable peace of mind tool that you have with this camera. Also, regarding USB-C, this camera has worked really flawlessly with the webcam connection. I had the imaging software from Sony already on my computer, just because I've used it before with other cameras, with my ZV-1, and so just being able to, again, plug in, have it work. I have an M1 MacBook, and so there was a lot of concerns about, like, will this work? Like, I've had problems with my Canons. For whatever reason, they don't seem to just be like plug and play. It works great. I love it. Autofocus, all of the features are still there. And so just being able to have reliability, use that as a nice webcam if you know you have it set up, or if you have a desk setup that you can easily plug into, is very valuable, especially when we're having a lot of more remote meetings and remote calls. You're kind of just able to be set up in a few seconds, just plugging in your camera. And so this next part is a little bit of a rarity for me, because it is a complaint about this camera, and it's something I've thought about, and something, is it a deal breaker? No, but it is important. I think it's a valuable feature that could be added on. So I'm going to complain about it a little bit. And so I would love to have the ability to use an SSD. We all kind of, we're all at the point where we're using these now, and so we're all kind of using these now, and so it would be great. A lot of the other cinema cameras do it. It's starting to become like another industry standard feature that you can just have with your camera, and you're able to plug in a 1 terabyte SSD into your USB-C drive, and it's going to be fast, and it's going to record at all the bit rates and all those things, because these things are just fast. Who knows? Maybe it can be a firmware update. Sony, please add it in there. It would help a lot of people, especially people that already have SSDs or people that are used to that workflow. I think a lot of people would love it. If you don't love it, don't use it. It's kind of as easy as that. But I think it'd be such a valuable tool. So again, people are able to really enjoy the functions of the camera and spend money to rig it out and make it to the camera that they need without having to worry about batteries or storage. But yeah, USB-C is phenomenal on this camera, and so that is one thing that I really do love. My last favorite thing is kind of a small one, but it is nice to have it in there. I haven't shot many photos, but having the Wi-Fi in the camera is still an amazing feature. If this is my only camera and I'll be traveling, and I think this will be my only camera, I think being able to just download the JPEG straight off of your phone is just great. Like, we all love that instant gratification, or if you want to post a family photo without having to go to your computer, ingest, do all those things, the Wi-Fi feature is great. I've had people complain about it. It's always worked for me on actually I take that back. Setting it up on this last camera was like not easy for whatever reason, but once you're kind of in the system and have all that lined up, it does work really well. It's just a matter of selecting and then having your phone open and downloading the image. But other than that initial setup, it was pretty great. So let's make it 2 small complaints in this video. And so that'll about wrap this video up. It's 4 of my favorite things with 2 small complaints, not deal breakers by any means, about the Sony FX30. I'm still learning a lot about this camera, and so it's been a joy to work with. I'm gonna do a vlog when I go visit my family in a week, and so I'll see if that f4 lens will hold up while I'm traveling. Won't be great at night, obviously, but during the day, I think it'll be pretty solid. So like and subscribe, comment, do all the things, help this channel grow. and I'm going to be ecstatic to bring more content to all the creators out there that are looking for this camera and kind of just creator content in general. See ya.